Moeā kako, welcome to Moeā.
I'm John Cruz.
Aloha, my name is Karanoy.
And we're here today to share a bit about our studio, Studio Moeā. So Studio Moeā is a creative collective made up of individuals from Hawaiian language, Hawaiian history, programming, business, 3D artistry, with the shared goal of creating entertainment media where Hōkū can live. The idea for this got started when Nate and I met at when we developed the game called Hōkū, a collaborative project between Kana and IIF, Initiative for Indigenous Futures, where we developed a game that was fully in Olelo, Hawaii, generated a lot of buzz, super good time. Other guys here who are in the project as well. I see Chad in the back, so good to see that it's still going strong. We made a lot of connections here and also abroad.
So abroad, that game is actually featured in Imagine Native. It's the biggest Indigenous Peoples Film Festival held in Toronto, Canada. So we met and connected with a lot of Indigenous game devs there. They're doing the same thing. Also, we got a chance to visit GDC, which is Game Developers Conference in San Francisco in 2019. And with that trip, we got to share our story and our work with industry professionals in the game dev world currently.
Yeah, so a lot of interest in creating games, especially Indigenous games abroad, so we wanted to bring that interest back home and hopefully breed somebody into that. So the problem,
This is my son, Kahiel, on his smartphone.
and Kahiel's not the problem here. Maybe looking at this, you would think like a problem might be our keiki are on the phone too much and consuming too much media, but as millennial Hawaiian parents ourselves now, that's not necessarily a problem that we see. What we see is what device, what media is he consuming on this device, and how is that impacting his identity? Because we understand that he's now a digital native like every other human who's already born in his age group. So that to us is kind of a problem, taking control of that media that he consumes.
So currently there are a few games that feature Hawaii. Like if Kahiel goes and searches online for a Hawaiian game, this is what he's going to get currently.
And there's nothing wrong with other creative projects, like you don't want to take away from that. I think all Olelo should have a place to exist. But in this game, Kahiel will be gunning down the demigod Moeā with an AK-47 developed by a studio in the mainland who consulted a kahuna over the phone. So I think that might be a little problematic. You can check it on the website. I don't want to like name drop here, but so this is our solution. This was our manao, was to create games. Entertainment, I think, is a viable route to communicate great Mo'olelo, and kids love games. The gamification of Mo'olelo, and we want to utilize Olelo Hawaii at the forefront of this. We've long recaptured, retextured technologies from elsewhere to better serve our lahui throughout history. We see that in Pepa, also ukulele, and now this new cultural artifact that our descendants will look back and how we use, right? So we developed a prototype called Nutfish Elevator Kako to kind of proof of concept this idea.
So this is a slide of Lua being modeled in Maya. It's a rough prototype, but we're using Unity game engine, Maya, and Blender for modeling. And these projects will exist on the global platforms for the biggest mobile game industry, which is the iOS Store and the Google Play Store.
Yeah. Okay. And ideally we want to take our product straight to market and have that financed up operation, but that's a lofty goal and we have to generate some buzz first. We also understand that education is a big part of this equation, and we really wanted to reach out with some of our own networks who are educators, local nonprofits who see the value in maybe retexturing their curriculum to be featured in this way, to be distributed to a new generation of digital natives. I know I said that twice already. But this was our idea, and we also have some cool little things in the actual code of the game itself.
Francis mentioned that within our projects, we want to have Olelo Hawaii live in the code itself. So you're coming from a foundation that's built on the language. So the game literally can't work without the language inside the bones. You won't even see that. You see it on the outside as well. But underlying layers, we also have the language within the implementation.
It's powered by Olelo Hawaii and features Olelo Hawaii. That's the idea we're going for. And it's fun. It has to be fun. So what do we need to make this work? We've been kind of doing this and doing it ourselves with no budget at all and a lot of upfront costs in developing something like this, mainly software and hardware, a lot of recurring expenses for development tools. But we've already reached out to a few organizations and had some contract work with them, but really we need to develop a fully fleshed out prototype that we're working on finishing up now to move forward to the next process.
this is the impact that we're gonna have here. Is Kahia happy and enjoying content from us by us? Noka Hawaii, Naka Hawaii. The main impact is that we're gonna repurpose the smartphone to benefit Hawaii in general.
I was fortunate to grow up in Kaipuni and Punaleo. My whole life I was in Oahu, Hawaii. This wasn't important enough to put into my hands, so when I wanted to play games like everybody else, I had to. Now that we're parents, we just think it's important enough to put into their hands. Mahalo. Mahalo.
Judges, questions?
3 to 5.
Wow. Joseph, you're fine.
Amazing, excellent presentation.
Oh, wow.
So I wanted to ask a little bit more about, you had wanted to, the short-term plan was to integrate this in the education and curriculum. Could you share just a little bit more how you see that?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's no lie that there's a lot of money in Hawaiian education right now. And also, there's not a lot in Hawaiian entertainment right now. I work as an actor, I do a lot of stuff in entertainment, and I'm also trying to get things going on that front. So I know that by reaching out to some educators who want to, again, repurpose their curriculum to be featured in this way, gamification is just a cool way to distribute mo'olelo in my mind to young kids. If they think it's fun, they'll play it. But embedding these mo'olelo with whatever curriculum, we worked with a nonprofit, I don't know if I can say who it is, but they wanted to retexture their curriculum that they already had in place and just get it on a mobile app that lives there so that they could give it to Keiki in this way. Yeah. A lot of it had to do with just, I think it was a Mala game that we were kind of helping them develop, a Lo'i game and stuff like that. But we needed a proof of concept. We needed to develop that prototype a little bit more to kind of get them on board. But they definitely expressed interest. This is kind of a route for education. We're disguising it in entertainment. That's kind of a fun entertainment. Yeah, entertainment education is a concept we've been kind of looking at as well.
I also resonated with what you had mentioned about having mo'olelo have its own place to live. Wondering if there's thought within the team, at what point do you step in to say this mo'olelo is not correct, or this is our own cultural, intellectual property, and this is our stance on how we address it?
That's a great question. So far, the only mo'olelo that we featured like certain characters from mo'olelo, whether kupua. I don't think we presented a whole mo'olelo captured in just there.
But definitely. I think our own projects, that would be a question we ask ourselves. But for the short term, we would really look at the goals and interests of our collaborators and who they would work with. We've got a pretty big network to the people we've been talking to, from KS to OHA to UH, to Purple Moeā. A lot of he works for Purple Moeā as well. So really looking at the interests of the organizations and just making it work for them as well. Yeah.
So are you looking more to do your own stuff, or
that's all.
Other people's projects?
So short term is definitely work with other people right now. And the way that we projected it, we only need one contract a year to meet our financial needs, to keep the business going. Ideally, we take on 3 to 4 collaborative contracts a year. And again, the more we build hardware, personnel, and get this rolling, we're all co-owners of this thing, so we're not taking a cut until like year 3. But hopefully then, once we get a few more contracts and develop it, and get it a little more stable, ideally we'd like to develop for our own and put it out to market directly. But that's a little far off because kind of want to build the landscape within this education sphere to kind of have the impetus to create our own stuff to exist as well. So.
I'm thinking about like history classes.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm thinking, then you can teach the coding in the school. So I'm just thinking, like, as a game, I don't know, I haven't been in high school for a long time, but we weren't allowed to play games, so I'm like, how does that happen now? Do you guys know, or I don't know.
I know they use like iPads in school nowadays.
Yeah.
It's just another type of computer.
Right.
So that could easily, it's just switching out the content that's already, computers and smartphones are literally the same thing. One is just portable. So I believe a lot of the schools nowadays are integrating, mobile computers or smartphones and iPads and stuff into the curriculum. So we literally can just switch out what they're currently using with stuff that we develop.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So the proof of, our little prototype, Moeā, is, it's just a basic fishing game, but there are different things about the game, different kind of lessons that are embedded in the gameplay itself. So like,
Sustainability.
little sustainable fish, like Moeā itself doesn't really
Translation.
mean fishing, right? Like fishing is like extracting that resource kind of indiscriminately and just pulling. Moeā, lava, and I'a, really, it's already kind of packaged into the word right there. So it's about sustainable fishing practices. So there's like penalizations for hitting the wrong fish, and you're just not trying to bang the biggest lure you see. You really want to be mindful of how you navigate it, and then it creates this whole level of complex gameplay because you're dodging, like whatever you're not trying to get, like a and trying to get the Roy because there's a lot of them, so we actually have that.
Basic species.
Oh, where's the prototype? Can we pass that on?
We have it on there, and you can kind of
Check it out if you guys want.
So you're recontextualizing games, so if it's just educational and fun, just stop with the calling it a game thing. I mean,
Yes,
that's.
gamification is the word we've been kind of playing with.
Yeah, but it's another educational context, so, old minds have to stop and think, oh my God, video games are terrible.
Yeah.
What?
And
So,
that's a great point you bring up, because even for me growing up, Ike is Ike.
Yeah.
There's no difference between learning a hula or a mele or something from a puke. It's all Ike, so this is a way that Ike is getting to you. So everything is learning. You're learning something no matter what you're consuming. So we all have devices, we all have things that we like, we have media we consume definitely impacts us and the way that we see ourselves, the way that we see our community, the world around us. So we're just kind of breaking into that and carving out a little space where Moeā and Ike are ready to exist. So.
Great, thank you guys.
All right.